Hi, I'm attorney Gordon Firemark, and this is Entertainment Law Asked and Answered, where I tackle your legal questions about the creative industries so you can keep creating and getting your message out. Today's question comes from Zachary, an artist exploring the use of movie dialogue and other snippets in his creative projects. And let's dive right in. He asks, I create original works of art with spoken word dialogue instead of singing. I'd like to use some sort of obscure, not famous snippets from films, lectures, and interviews. But when I've reached out to companies like Disney or Warner Brothers in the past, they've ignored me. So, what are the legal parameters here? Well, first off, reaching out to the big studios is always a good idea, but as you've now experienced, they are unlikely to respond unless you're offering substantial money for license fees. And even then, the odds of a response, or at least a positive response, can be pretty slim. So let's unpack the legalities of what you're proposing. Copyright law protects creative works like films, scripts, interviews, and lectures from the moment that they are created. This protection lasts for 95 years or more, sometimes depending on when the work was created and the lifespan of the author. Under copyright law, the owner of the work has the exclusive rights to distribute and make and distribute copies, to create derivative works, to perform the work or display the work. And what you're describing, taking snippets of dialogue and using them in your art, falls under making derivative works. That means that you would need permission from the copyright holder in order to avoid copyright infringement. Now, you also asked about recreating bits of dialogue with voice actors. Would that also infringe on copyright? Well, yes, possibly. Even if you recreate the dialogue rather than using the original recordings, copyright law still applies if that dialogue is original enough to have been protected in the first place. The amount you're using is significant. Or if it doesn't qualify as fair use. This brings us to some key legal defenses, the de minimis use and the fair use defenses. So let's start with de minimis use. If you are taking such a small amount of dialogue that it's insignificant or unrecognizable, you could probably avoid infringement. However, this is a bit of a gray area, and courts interpret it differently depending on the case and all the facts and circumstances. And then there's fair use, which considers factors like the purpose of your use. Is it transformative? Is it educational? Or is it more commercial? The amount you're using. Is it a small clip or a significant portion? The effect on the market for the original work. I do recommend checking out my video on fair use for a deeper dive. The shortcut to that is firemark.com/fair use. And it'll also be linked down in the notes below. Also, you can look up a great video called A Fair Use Tale, which creatively explains this concept by using lots and lots of Disney film clips to illustrate the point. Next up, Zachary asks, if I use audio effects to change the dialogue, like pitching the voice up or down, does that protect me legally? Well, unfortunately, it doesn't really make a difference. Altering the dialogue amounts to creating that derivative work, and that's still considered an infringement if the amount you've taken is significant. Even with heavy editing, the original material is still identifiable, and those legal risks will still remain. So here's the bottom line. Copyright law can be a minefield, especially when you're dealing with content owned by major studios. While defenses like fair use and de minimis use do exist, they are far from guarantees, and defending against a lawsuit, even a baseless one, can be an incredibly costly, stressful, and time-consuming thing. So, if you are a creative professional and you're navigating these kinds of issues, it is incumbent on you to get educated about copyright law. Consider consulting a lawyer, and when in doubt, do seek permission from the rights holders. So thanks for a great question, Zachary. If you've got entertainment law questions, please drop them in the comments or visit my firemark.com/questions page, and you can submit them there. And until next time, I'm Gordon Firemark, helping you make your creative business a success. See you again soon.